The shekel shall be 20 gerahs, 20 shekels, 25 shekels, and 15 shekels shall be your mina. This is the offering which you shall offer. You shall give 1/6 of an ephah from a homer of wheat, and 1/6 of an ephah from a homer of barley. The ordinance concerning oil and bath of oil is 1/10 of a bath from a kor. A kor is a homer, or 10 baths. For 10 baths are a homer. And 1 lamb shall be given from a flock of 200 from the rich pastures of Israel. These shall be for grain offering, burnt offering, and peace offering, to make atonement for them, says the Lord God. All the people of the land shall give this offering to the prince of Israel. Then it shall be the prince's part to give burnt offerings, grain offerings, and drink offerings at the feasts, and new moons, and Sabbaths, and at the appointed seasons of the house of Israel. He shall prepare the sin offering, the grain offering, the burnt offering, and the peace offerings to make atonement for the house of Israel. Thus says the Lord God, in the first month, on the first day of the month, you shall take a young bull without blemish and cleanse the sanctuary. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering and put it on the doorposts of the temple, on the 4 corners of the ledge of the altar, and on the gateposts of the gate of the inner court. And so you shall do on the 7th day of the month for everyone who has sinned unintentionally or in ignorance. Thus you shall make atonement for the temple. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, you shall observe the Passover. A feast of 7 days, unleavened bread shall be eaten. And on the day, the prince shall prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bull for a sin offering. On the 7 days of the feast he shall prepare a burnt offering to the Lord. 7 bulls and 7 rams without blemish, daily for 7 days, and a kid of the goats daily for a sin offering. And he shall prepare a grain offering of 1 ephah for each bull, and 1 ephah for each ram, together with a hin of oil for each ephah. In the 7th month, on the 15th day of the month, at the feast he shall do likewise for 7 days according to the sin offering, the burnt offering, the grain offering, and the oil. Thus says the Lord God, the gateway of the inner court that faces toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and on the day of the new moon it shall be opened. The prince shall enter by the way of the vestibule of the gateway from the outside and stand by the gateposts. The priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings. He shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go out, but the gate shall not be shut until evening. Likewise the people of the land shall worship at the entrance of this gateway before the Lord on the Sabbaths and the new moons. The burnt offerings that the prince offers to the Lord on the Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish and a ram without blemish. And the grain offering shall be 1 ephah for a ram, and the grain offering for the lamb as much as he wants to give, as well as an hin of oil with every ephah. On the day of the new moon it shall be a young bull without blemish. Its lambs and a ram they shall be without blemish. He shall prepare a grain offering of an ephah for a bull, an ephah for a ram, as much as he wants to give for the lambs, and a hin of oil with every ephah. When the prince enters, he shall go into the way of the vestibule on the gateway, and go out the same way. But when the people of the land came before the Lord on the appointed feast day, whoever entered by the way of the north gate to worship shall go out by the south gate, and whoever enters by the south gate shall go up toward the north gate. He shall not return by the way of the gate through which he came, but shall go out through the opposite gate. The prince shall then be in their midst. And when they go in, they shall go in, and when they go out, he shall go out. At the festivals and at the appointed feast days, the grain offering shall be an ephah for a bull, an ephah for a ram, and as much as he wants to give for the lambs, and an hin of oil with every ephah. For when the princes make a voluntary burnt offering or a voluntary peace offering to the Lord, the gate that faces toward the east shall then be opened for him, and he shall prepare his burnt offerings and his peace offerings as he did on the Sabbath day. Then he shall go out, and then he goes out to the gate shall be shut. And after he goes out of the gate shall be shut. You shall daily make a burnt offering to the Lord of a lamb on the first year without blemish. You shall prepare it, and you should prepare it every morning, and you shall prepare a grain offering with it every morning, a sixth of an ephah, and a third of a hin of oil, to moisten the fine flour. This grain offering is a perpetual ordinance to be made regularly to the Lord. Thus they shall prepare the lamb and grain offering, and the oil and as a regular burnt offering every morning. Thus says the Lord God, if the prince gives a gift of some of his inheritance to any of his sons, it shall belong to his sons. It is their possession by inheritance. If he gives a gift of some of his inheritance to one of his servants, it shall be until the year of liberty, after which it shall return to the prince. But his inheritance shall belong to his sons. It shall become theirs. Moreover, the prince shall not take any of the people's inheritance by evicting them from their property. He shall provide an inheritance for his sons from his own property, so that none of my people may be scattered from his property. Now he brought me through the entrance, which was at the side of the gate, into the holy chambers of the priests, which faced toward the north. And there a place was situated at their extreme western end. And he said to me, this is the place where the priests shall boil the trespass offering and the sin offering, and where they shall bake the grain offering, so that they do not bring them out into the outer court to sanctify the people. Then he brought them out into the outer court, and caused me to pass by the four corners of the court. And in fact, in every corner of the court there was another court. And the four corners of the court were enclosed courts, 40 cubits long and 30 wide. All four corners were the same size. There was a row of building stones all around the four of them, and cooking hearths were made under the rows of stones all around. And he said to me, these are the kitchens where the ministers of the temple shall boil the sacrifices of the people. When he brought me back to the door of the temple, and there was water flowing from under the threshold of the temple toward the east, for the front of the temple faced east. The water was flowing from under the right side of the temple, south of the altar. He brought me out of the way of the north gate, and led me around to the outside of the outer gate that faces east, and there was water running out on the right side. And when the man went out to the east with the line in his hand, he measured 1,000 cubits, and he brought me through the waters. The water came up to my ankles. Again he measured 1,000 and brought me through the waters. The water came up to my knees. Again we measured 1,000 and brought me through the waters, came up to my waist. Again we measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not cross, for the water was too deep, water in which one must swim, a river that could not be crossed. He said to me, Son of man, have you seen this? Then he brought me and returned me to the bank of the river. Then I returned. There, along the bank of the river, were very many trees on one side and the other. Then he said to me, this water flows toward the eastern region, goes down into the valley and enters the sea. Then it reaches the sea. Its waters are healed. It shall be that every living thing that moves there, wherever the rivers go, will live. There will be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters go there. For they will be healed, and everything will live wherever the river goes. It shall be that fishermen will stand by it from En Gedi to En Glaim. They will be places for spreading their nets. Their fish will be of the same kinds as the fish of the great sea, exceedingly many. But its swamps and marshes will not be healed. They will be given over to salt. Along the bank of the river, on this side and that, will grow all kinds of trees used for food, and their leaves will not wither, and their fruit will not fail. They will bear fruit every month, because their water flows from the sanctuary. Their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for medicine. Thus says the Lord God, these are the borders by which you shall divide the land as an inheritance among the 12 tribes of Israel. Joseph shall have 2 portions. You shall inherit it equally with one another, as I raised my hand in an oath to give it to your fathers, and this land shall fall to you as your inheritance. This shall be the border of the land on the north, from the great sea by the road to Hethlon, as one goes to Zedad, Hamath, Berothah, Sibraim, which is between the border of Damascus and the border of Hamath, to Hazar Hatikon, which is on the border of Hayuran. Thus the boundary shall be from the sea of Hazar Enan, the border of Damascus, and as for the northward, it is the border of Hamath. This is the north side. On the east side you shall mark out the border between Hauran. On the east side you shall mark out the border from between Hauran and Damascus, and between Gilead and the land of Israel, along the Jordan, and along the eastern side of the sea. This is the East Sea. The south side toward the south shall be from the Tamar to the water of Meribah, by Kadesh, along the brook to the great sea. This is the south side toward the south. The west side shall be the great sea from the southern boundary until one comes to a point opposite Hamath. This is the west side. Thus you shall divide this land among yourselves according to the tribes of Israel. It shall be that you will divide it by a lot as inheritance for yourselves, and for the strangers who dwell among you, and who bear children among you. They shall be to you as native born among the children of Israel. They shall have an inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. And it shall be that in whatever tribe the stranger dwells, there you shall give him his inheritance, says the Lord. Now these are the names of the tribes, from the northern border, along the road to Hethlon, at the entrance of Hamath, to Hazan Enan, the border of Damascus northward, in the direction of Hamath. There shall be one section for Dan, from its east to its west side, by the border of Dan, from the east side to the west side, section for Asher. By the border of Asher, from the east side to the west, one section for Naphtali. By the border of Naphtali, from the east side to the east, one section for Manasseh. By the border of Manasseh, from east side to the west, one section for Ephraim. By the border of Ephraim, from the east side to the west, one section for Reuben. By the border of Reuben, from the east side to the west, one section for Judah. By the border of Judah, from the east side to the west, shall be the district which you shall set apart, 25,000 cubits in width, and in length the same as one of the other portions, from the east side to the west, with a sanctuary in the center. The district that you shall set apart for the Lord shall be 25,000 cubits in length and 10,000 in width. To the priests, the holy district shall belong. On the north, 25,000 cubits in length. On the west, 10,000 in width. On the east, 10,000 in width. And on the south, 25,000 in length. The sanctuary of the Lord shall be in the center. It shall be for the priests of the sons of Zadok, who are sanctified, who have kept my charge, who did not go astray when the children of Israel went astray, as the Levites went astray. And this district of land that is set apart shall be to them a thing most holy. by the border of the Levites. Opposite the border of the priests, the Levites shall have an area 25,000 cubits in length, and 10,000 in width. Its entire length shall be 25,000, and its width 10,000. And they shall not sell or exchange any of it. They may not alienate this best part of the land, for it is holy to the Lord. The 5,000 cubits its width that remain along the edge of the 25,000 shall be for general use by the city, for dwellings and common land, and the city shall be in the center. There shall be these shall be its measurements: the north side 4,500 cubits, the south side 4,500 cubits, the east side 4,500, and the west side 4,500. The common land of the city shall be, for the north 250 cubits, to the south 250, to the east 250, to the west 250. And the rest of the length along the side district of the holy section shall be 10,000 cubits to the east, 10,000 to the west. It shall be adjacent to the district of the holy section, and its produce shall be food for the workers of the city. The workers of the city from all the tribes of Israel shall cultivate it. The entire district shall be 25,000 cubits by 25,000 cubits, 4 square. You shall set apart the holy district with the property of the city. The rest shall belong to the prince. No one side and on the other side of the holy district, and of the city's property, next to the 25,000 cubits, and of the holy district, as far as the eastern border, and westward next to the 25,000, as far as the western border, adjacent to the tribal portions. It shall belong to the prince. It shall be the holy district, and the sanctuary of the temple shall be in the center. Moreover, apart from the possession of the Levites, and the possession of the city, which are in the midst of what belongs to the prince, the area between the border of Judah and the border of Benjamin shall belong to the prince. And as for the rest of the tribes, from the east side to the west, Benjamin shall have one section. By the border of Benjamin from east side to the west, Simon shall have one section. By the border of Simon from the east side to the west, Issachar shall have one section. By the border of Issachar from the east side to the west, Zebulun shall have one section. By the border of Zebulun from the east side to the west shall Gad shall have one section. By the border of Gad on the south side toward the south, the border shall be from Tamar to the waters of Meribah, by Kadesh, along the brook to the great sea. This is the land which you shall divide by lot as inheritance among the tribes of Israel. And these are their portions, says the Lord God. These are the exits of the city. On the north side, measuring 4,500 cubits, the gates of the city shall be named after the tribes of Israel. The 3 gates northward, 1 gate for Reuben, 1 gate for Judah, and 1 gate for Levi. On the east side, 4,500 cubits, 3 gates, 1 gate for Joseph, 1 for Benjamin, and 1 gate for Dan. On the south side, measuring 4,500 cubits, 3 gates, 1 for Simon, 1 for Issachar, and 1 for Zebulun. On the west side, 4,500 cubits, with their 3 gates, 1 for Gad, 1 for Asher, and 1 for Naphtali. All the way around shall be 18,000 cubits, and the name of the city and the name of the city from that day shall be, the Lord is there.